Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the Ncwlife Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and still kind of the same old song and dance as far as air quality goes out there once again today. This looking at the Wenatchee Valley from our Sky-Fi tower camera on Jump Off Ridge. And yeah, it's not very good air quality today, about 217 this afternoon, our air index quality reading, and that is in the very unhealthy air category. So even a little bit higher than we saw yesterday. We thought west winds would move in by now. They just haven't done that yet. It's still out of the east, and it's still trapping that dirty air here in the Wenatchee Valley. We do have winds, though, moving in that will clear out our air, especially by tomorrow. In fact, we could see west winds at 28 miles an hour. Those could be peak wind gusts for us here in Wenatchee. Moses Lake at 26 miles an hour. So that will really scour a lot of this smoke out. But on the other side of the coin, it's also going to make firefighting much more difficult. A red flag warning has been put in place for tomorrow, and that is from 2 o'clock until 8 o'clock tomorrow, and that's for most of that area right there that you see where the winds will be blowing over 20 miles an hour. So we'll keep that in mind tomorrow. So kind of a catch-22. Our air will get better, but it will be tough firefighting conditions. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on in your weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A weather change should help the 342 fire personnel working the 31,000-acre Crescent Mountain fire burning near Twisp. When all the votes were counted, it turns out the tightest race is still not over in Chelan County. And just in time for the new school year, the Wenatchee School District and its teachers approved yesterday a new 2-year contract. But first, we begin tonight. More smoke is expected in the Plain and Lake Wenatchee areas today as firefighters will begin low-intensity burnout operations. That's along the western edge of the fire. A total of 868 personnel are working the fire, which is now at 39,208 acres and remains at 40% containment. Cougar Creek Fire Incident Commander Noel Livingston gives us an update on the plan of attack today and says a change in wind direction will be a big help.
I'll start as usual down here on the Entiat River north of Ardenvore. We're showing a little bit more containment across the south and east side of the fire as we've continued to make good progress with mop up and holding, securing those lines. Just every day that just gets more and more solid. So we're not finding a lot of activity, not a lot of things for people to do, which is what we're really looking for, but continuing to be there and keep an eye on things if it does pop up. So mop up, hold, maintain containment is the theme on the Entiat Valley side of the operation. We are continuing to open up some dozer lines that come up toward Devil's Backbone in a couple of locations just as contingency in case we have a problem on the northeast corner of the fire over time. So particularly with the west wind, we're paying attention to that. We don't think that's going to happen, but we're there in case it does. So that's our focus on the east side of the fire today. Good news there. Our big effort today is going to be on the west side of the fire. As you know, we've been pushed by particularly a piece of the fire spread right up to Miners Ridge and over the top just south of Maverick Saddle. That's been our problem child here for the last several days. With our east winds, we now have our west winds, which are going to aid us. We've backed off to the 6104 road system, 6101 down in here, and tied this together with a hand line to the north and a dozer line to the south. So today and probably tomorrow, our intent is to bring some fire down to the road and then burn along the road itself. That will, if that comes together well, reestablish containment here, get us back up onto the ridge line so that we can then start to focus to the north.
Level 2 evacuations are still in place for the Chihuahua Loop Road from Plain out to the intersection of Chihuahua River Road. Plain and the Lake Wenatchee areas are under a Level 1 evacuation. There will be another community meeting tomorrow night regarding the Cougar Creek fire. The meeting will be held at Chelan County Fire District number 8 in Entiat beginning at 6 o'clock. Well, a weather change should also help the 342 fire personnel working the 31,000-acre Crescent Mountain fire burning near Twisp. Derek Moore, Operations Section Chief, tells us what the plan of attack is today.
If you keep up with the forecast, you realize we've got a change in wind direction coming later today and over the next 48 hours. That's going to go from a northeasterly flow of wind to a southwesterly, westerly flow of wind. So that creates big changes over here on the crescent fire. Our priorities remain the same, focusing on the Eagle Creek drainage area, Scaffold Ridge area, priority of the park boundary over here towards this towards the town of Stehekin, and again not turning our backs on this area up here near Poplar Flat and Slate Lake. So with that being said, we've got a little bit of fire progression that you've seen here in the past couple of days. A lot of resources in here today working to hold this and check this, all the while continuing to improve our contingency lines. This line on Scaffold Ridge, we were able to fly a lot of aviation resources in here yesterday and actually lay retardant down on that line and really beef that line up. That's made a big difference. We have a lot of confidence in this line, however, we don't have all of our eggs in one basket. That's why we have these additional contingency lines, a lot of crews, a lot of equipment, a lot of people working to improve these areas today.
A level 3 evacuation notice was put in place yesterday afternoon for people living west of the Little Bridge Creek intersection in the Twist River Valley. All evacuation levels issued on August 17th are still in place. That includes a level 3 for West Buttermilk Creek Road and Twist River Road west of the Buttermilk Creek intersection. A level 2 evacuation notice remains in effect from the Buttermilk Creek Road east to Little Bridge Creek Road. Well, when all the votes were counted, it turns out the tightest race is still not over here in Chelan County. You wouldn't think that an open position for a Democrat Party precinct committee officer would generate that much interest, but that was not the case in Chelan County Precinct 540, where 3 candidates ended up in a flat-footed tie. Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore says that will result in an automatic recount coming up on August 30th.
If at the end of that recanvass or recount, we're still at 45, 45, 45, we'll conduct a lot draw. We'll place all 3 names into a basket, and from that we'll pull 1 name, and that will be the declared winner.
The 3 candidates who filed for the position are Dale Shank, Alan Franzen, and Hector Avila. In other news, teachers in the Wenatchee School District have agreed to a new labor contract. Rank and file members of the Wenatchee Education Association, or WEA, ratified the new contract at a meeting Tuesday night, and now it's up to the school board to follow suit later this month. Chris Cameron with the WEA tells Ncwlife News that it's a win-win for everyone.
You know, nationwide and especially in Washington State, we've got a pretty severe teacher shortage right now, and so the stress of the job and a lot of the negative comments that educators hear in the media, plus low pay, has really contributed to that situation. So we're really excited that the state legislature finally complied with the McCleary decision and are not in contempt of court any longer, and that our local school district and our association were able to reach a good agreement.
The WEA represents over 500 non-administrative certified educators in the Wenatchee School District. The school district reports in a prepared news release that the new 2-year contract provides for a salary increase for the upcoming school year and cost of living adjustment for next year. The new agreement also provides for some reductions in caseloads for non-teaching staff, such as therapists and psychologists, and adds new limits to daily class loads for teachers. Well, coming up next, the 3rd time was the charm yesterday when a piece of aviation history took flight from the waters of Moses Lake. Ncwlife's Steve Hare was there, and you won't want to miss his report. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the Ncwlife Evening News.
Hi, Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. When you think of Alpine Air in Wenatchee, think of professional, friendly customer service for all your heating and cooling needs. Alpine Air partners with Carrier, manufacturers of some of the best heating and air conditioning equipment available today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Visit our store in Wenatchee, meet our people, see our shop. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Choose the pros, Alignment Pros. When your vehicle needs brakes, shocks, struts, or alignment, choose the experts in their field. Alignment Pros and Express Lube with a 5-star rating. The work they perform on your vehicle is as impeccable as their shop. With state-of-the-art equipment, Alignment Pros can handle all large or small vehicles, specialty cars, lifted or lowered. Alignment Pros does them all. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
Vamonos junk haulers, big or small, they haul it all. Vamonos junk haulers are experienced at hauling junk from your household items to yard and construction debris. That old hot tub and eyesore, Vamonos, will make it Vamonos. Recycling is a priority to Vamonos junk haulers. They'll haul away your old appliances and electronics. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vamonos Junk Haulers also rents trucks and trailers. Call Vamonos Junk Haulers and Moving Service today to schedule your free estimate.
Welcome back. In another news, the third time was the charm yesterday when a piece of aviation history took flight from the waters of Moses Lake. Ncwlife's Steve Hare was there and filed this report.
Fully restored 1914 Curtiss flying boat was cleared by the FAA for test flights after it was rebuilt by Pangbourne Airport-based Century Aviation. A small group of invited guests watched on as the vintage biplane was eased into the water and taxied out onto the lake. Company owners Mark Smith and Karen Barrow were commissioned to do the restoration by Bill Nutt. He's a Florida businessman for the nonprofit Collings Foundation.
Really excited and just a little terrified.
Yeah, a bit nervous.
Yeah.
But
we've had a good talks with our pilot. He's got a lot of experience with it. He's comfortable. Our engine mechanics, things like that, they're comfortable. The guys have gone over and over it. I think we're good.
we're ready to go.
You've built a lot of aircraft up there.
Yes, we have.
How does this project rate?
This is probably our favorite. It's been, I don't like the term bucket list, but this has been on our bucket list, this particular aircraft, for 25 years or more. We've known about the project for 30. Yeah. And finally through Bill Nutt, who's basically paying for the project, we were able to make it possible.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Smith and Barrow started work on that project in 2016. Nutt discussed the story behind the project with Ncwlife News.
Well, I had actually done a previous project with Century Aviation. I did a 1909 Curtiss Pusher, which is not a float plane, wheeled plane, tricycle gear, same OX5 engine, and I did that 4 years previously. And when it was completed, donated it to the Collings Foundation in Stowe, Massachusetts. The Collings Foundation has a great collection of not only aircraft, but automobiles and tanks. And in their aircraft museum, they have specialty is naval aircraft. And so the first Navy airplane was a 1909 Curtiss Pusher. The second was a Model F flying boat.
Interesting.
And so I was interested in what the second aircraft was, and happily Mark Smith knew where we could find some parts for a Model F. And so I brought Mark and Rob Collings from the Collings Foundation, and I went and looked in a barn in East Haven, Connecticut, where this plane had crashed in 1915, had been dragged out shortly thereafter, parts put in a barn, and a gentleman whose last name is Vernon had bought the farm and went into the old barn and thought he had found a windmill. But in the center of the parts was the control structure, and on it was the original registration plate. And it said Curtiss Aeroplane Company, Model F, number 112. So he really knew what he had. And he put that on the internet, and Mark saw it, and that's how we found out where this was. And so Mark said he had wanted for 30 years to build a Model F, and I said, well, I'd like to build a Model F, so we got together. So that's how it started, 4 years ago.
And your impression of the final product?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely remarkable. And the product that you see behind you is only part of it. There were no existing complete plans for a Model F. Some of them were in the Curtiss Wright Museum in Columbus. Some of them were in the Smithsonian. Some of them were at the Curtiss Museum in Hammondsport, New York, but nobody had a complete set of plans. Well, one of the things that comes out of all of this is that we now have one complete set of plans, as well as a flying, existing resurrection of a flying boat.
Now, the aircraft reportedly maneuvered well in the water, but the first two attempts to lift off were scuttled due to some mechanical issues. But the third time was the charm, thanks to Century Aviation's team of highly skilled engineers who made the necessary repairs. The plane took off and then flew about 50 feet over the water at a distance of about a quarter mile. It landed, then took off 2 more times before it was removed from the water. Bill Nutt said the plane will now be transported to New York, where it'll be reassembled for a second test flight.
And that is the big Curtiss Museum flight the second Saturday of September every year. They have a fly-in for all of the existing Curtiss aircraft. And Curtiss built airplanes through the Second World War. He built some very big transport airplanes. He was a genius at aeronautics. And so all of those airplanes come back in September, and this will be the sort of the highlight of that show.
For Century Aviation, it's on to the next project, a Curtiss Jenny biplane, similar to the aircraft they built for the Evergreen Aviation Museum in McMinnville, Oregon. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Very, very interesting. And also a thank you to NCW Life's Uriah Darby for shooting that video and editing that story. Very interesting. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update with Eric Granatrom and our feature story tonight. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
It's a free walk-in job search assistance center. It is designed to help job seekers with the tools that they need to find a job. We have partnered with libraries in 5 other cities, providing the same types of services that we offer here, just there.
Just walk in, we have laptops, and we can help you with resume, cover letter.
All of our services are paid for by the revenues earned in our store. Goodwill is just a tool that the community is using to help their neighbors find a job. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Sir, I pulled you over today to ask you one thing. Is it true that Apple Valley Honda has a free lifetime warranty on every new Honda?
Officer, I'm glad you asked. Our lifetime warranty comes free on all of our new Hondas. That means you won't have to pay a dime for any major expenses. That could save you thousands. And no, you do not have to service with us. It's a great peace of mind, officer.
Wow, my wife and I have wanted the new Accord. We'll see you this weekend.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
Well, a happy hump day to you. We'll talk about the Mariner game today a little bit later on. Right now, let's talk about what happened last night. Despite turning a franchise record 6 double plays, Mariners fell to Houston in a bullpen battle last night. Final score 3-2. Nick Vincent made his first ever start for Seattle when scheduled starter Mike Leake couldn't go because of the flu. He went 2 innings of scoreless 1-hit ball before coming out of the game after being hit by a line drive on his ankle. That left manager Scott Service with no choice but to put in Ross Detweiler. Now, this rangy 32-year-old southpaw is a grizzled vagabond who learned 3 hours before the game he's being called up out of AAA Tacoma. He jumped in an Uber for the 35-minute drive to Safeco Field. Detweiler started the season playing independent ball for the York Revolution on the East Coast, his 12th team in either the independent or minor leagues. He arrived in the clubhouse, put on a uniform, had little time to warm up, and was in the game. Well, he wound up going 6 innings, throwing 76 pitches, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits, 2 strikeouts, and induced 5 double play balls. What did he say of his experience? It was fun. Manager Scott Service said to give credit where credit is due.
A crazy day, started when we got the call, late this afternoon that Mike Leake was not feeling good at all, and he wasn't going to be able to make the start. So, quickly, pivoted, and fortunate for us, we were able to get Ross Detweiler in here. Tacoma was at home. He came in tonight and did an unbelievable job, great job. But obviously started with Vincent, gave us 2 good innings, and then turn it over to Detweiler and keep us right in the ball game. And that's all you're asking for. I mean, this guy's thinking he's starting at AAA, and he's getting in an Uber and he's driving to Safeco, and there he goes. He's in the game, and he handled it great. Certainly, he's been in the big leagues before and been in that environment. But he threw strikes. Fortunate, we turned some really good double plays behind him, and he kept us right there. With what happened this afternoon, if you had told me that we were in a 3-2 game, late with guys on base and right guys up, we'll take our chances. We just didn't get the big hit tonight. We got the big hit last night and weren't able to get it done tonight.
Talking about the double plays, the 6 double plays tied an American League record. The Mariners got off to a rocky start today as Marco Gonzalez was hit hard and by many Houston Astros. We'll have more on that coming up tomorrow morning on the Wake Up Wenatchee Valley program. Les Schwab scoreboard for the rest of the American League West last night. Let's take a look. Brett Anderson threw 7 scoreless innings of 1-hit ball to lead Oakland past Texas 6-zip. That kept the Athletics tied with Houston atop the American League West, while Seattle slid to 4.5 games back. John Jay scored from second base on a throwing error in the bottom of the 9th, and Arizona walked off against the Angels in 5-4. A.J. Pollock laid down a bunt that Cam Bedrosian tried to get Jay on a force at third base, but threw wildly, allowing Jay to score the winning run. Well, the Seahawks continue training camp in Renton as they prepare for their 3rd preseason game Friday at Minnesota. Pete Carroll's meeting with the press yesterday after practice. He wanted to take time to thank punter John Ryan, whom the team released Monday after 10 years with Seattle.
John Ryan has been a great Seahawk, and we have loved the time we spent together. I mean, he's been here since the beginning, and I know everybody would understand that it's a very difficult decision when you have to make one like this after all this time together. And he was doing great. And Michael was just kicking out of this world and did the things that we had hoped he could do. And really there's a chance for John, I hope, in the next short while, he'll be hooked up with somebody. There were some teams that were interested, and it was the right time to help John get moving too. So he's been a great player. He's been a great competitor. He's been a great team guy, great community guy. We love him. I mean, he's always a Seahawk, will always be, and really one of the great ones. So we missed the heck out of him, but something, the time came, we had to go ahead and do it.
Seahawks travel to Minneapolis on Friday to take on the Vikings. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock. That's Sports News. I'm Eric Grantstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. We'll be back with the recap of some of our top stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Hello, and what is up? Welcome to Career Shift Business Edition. I've got 3 choices: certificate, associates, and bachelor's. I'm going associates. And I'm enrolled. Stay alert, this game moves pretty fast. Whoa, exams almost did me in. I'm back on track and picking up speed. And I'm in the home stretch. Degree complete, and I'm ready to go to work. Charter helped me make that career shift. Your turn.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home, and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home, too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas. And introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and Entiat. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Evening News. More smoke is expected in the Plain and Lake Wenatchee areas today as firefighters will begin low-intensity burnout operations along the western edge of the fire. A total of 868 personnel are working the fire, which is now at 39,208 acres and remains at 40% containment. Cougar Creek Fire Incident Commander Noel Livingston says a change in wind direction today out of the west will be a big help. Teachers in the Wenatchee School District have agreed to a new labor contract. Rank and file members of the Wenatchee Education Association, or WEA, ratified the new contract at a meeting Tuesday night, and now it's up to the school board to follow suit later this month. Chris Cameron with the WEA tells NCW Life News that it's a win-win for everyone. The WEA represents over 500 non-administrative certified educators in the Wenatchee School District. Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Before we get to those details, let's once again check what's happening outside our weather window, and it's another bad air quality day here in the Wenatchee Valley. Yeah, it's even a little bit higher than yesterday. Yesterday we were between 170 and 190, which is unhealthy. Today we are back in the very unhealthy category with readings around 217 at last check this afternoon. That is very unhealthy, and that goes for a big chunk of North Central Washington. The main reason is our winds haven't switched directions yet like we thought would happen at some point this afternoon. As we take a look at our surface loop, we will see a change in those winds though, especially by tomorrow, where we could see wind gusts up to 38 miles an hour, and that will really scour out a lot of this nasty air that we've been seeing almost all week long. As we move into Friday, much improved air quality, and we will see cooler temperatures too. There is an area of low pressure in the northeastern corner of the state that moved down from British Columbia, or will move down, and that will bring cooler weather, and will remain cool as we kick off our weekend on Saturday with highs below normal, only in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And then guess what happens on Sunday? We will see a 20 to 30% chance of shower activity by noon on Sunday just to the west. And there you have it. By afternoon on Sunday, showers will be likely through almost all of the state, which should be great for firefighting efforts. Still a few showers lingering on Monday morning, but it should move through by afternoon, where we'll see then partly cloudy skies with temperatures on Monday still cool in the upper 70s. So won't rain, be nice. Now let's take a look at your quick Lube and Tune forecast. Tonight our overnight low 66. Don't think we'll get to 90 today. It will be in the mid to upper 80s late this afternoon. Sunny with strong winds on Thursday. Keep that in mind. We could see gusts approaching 30 miles an hour in the afternoon. 87 your high. Friday cooler. 81 for the high temperature. Will stay that way as we move into the weekend. Saturday mostly sunny and mild. 79. 78 for Sunday. Keep in mind a 30% chance of showers in the afternoon. We'll stay with the chance for showers Monday morning, then partly cloudy and 77. Tuesday looks nice with sunny and dry conditions. High temperatures then around 81. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Walk and Roll Wenatchee's Asian Express is fast, fresh food. Wenatchee Roll's new Poke Hawaiian Fresh Salad Bar is the best. Fresh greens, fresh seafood, and handmade sauces. You know what you want. At Walk and Roll, create your own style meal. Hot off the line chicken, beef, and veggie plates. Lunch or dinner to match your appetite. Fresh sushi, hot entrees, Poke Fresh Salad Bar. It's new. It's Walk and Roll Wenatchee, fast, fresh food your way. Located on 5th and Mission.